Wolverhampton Wanderers, ins and outs. Plenty of outs, and they've made some money as well. On the left of your screen, a few ins as well. One of the most interesting ones is Francisco Trincao on loan, the forward. We've seen him play already so far this season, because when we've seen them play under Bruno Lage, they've looked really good. They've just lost 3 games in a row by a goal to nil. They have, though, managed to keep hold of David Ornstein, Adama Traore. So that's a win.
Rebecca, you just gave us the good performances, the bad, the results, and I'm going to give you the good in the recruitment department and the bad as well. Let's start with the good. Adama Traore is staying at Wolves, and that's a huge coup for a player who a year ago may well have left. He wasn't that important to them under Nuno Espirito Santo. Now under Bruno Lage, he's their most important player, and Tottenham wanted to sign him. While we've been on air, I've broken the story that Tottenham submitted a £30 million bid for Adama Traore yesterday. It was rejected. They did not come back in today with another offer, and Wolves kept their key man. They would have wanted around £50 million for him today if that was going to happen. And although he only has 2 years left on his contract and there is no progress yet in talks over a new deal, he is in the form of his life at 25 years old, a Spain international, and they will be delighted. They also kept Ruben Neves, of course, but they didn't bring in a striker, which they were trying to do tonight, and they didn't bring in a central midfielder. I also broke the news that Boubakary Kamara from Marseille was their target. They made an offer to Marseille, and Kamara decided to reject both that offer and one from Newcastle to stay at Marseille. 3 defeats, as you say, so there is going to be a lot of pressure on Lage and also on George Mendes, the super agent who has such influence in the Wolves recruitment operation. I think this is a real test of that ownership under Fosun, Mendes' influence and a new manager. Doesn't look great, it must be said, so far in terms of results, but as you pointed out, the performances are there, so they will be optimistic it could turn.
What an interesting nugget there from David. So yesterday he said that Spurs came in with £30 million, which is about $41 million, for Adama Traore. Wolves said no. Spurs did not come back. They kind of wanted him that much then.
Apparently not, and it makes you wonder if that was Nuno going to the board at Tottenham and saying, "Go get my man," and them saying, "Okay, we'll give it a try." But listen, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that Wolves were able to keep him, because he's been in better form this season than I've seen him over the last 2 years. And you know, okay, we know his finishing isn't brilliant, but just his ability to get on the ball more, and he's kind of the focal point. On the other side, I look at Trincao from Barcelona. I was blown away by him. I mean, he skipped past Fred like he was in quicksand, you know, and then luckily there was a goal line clearance. But I tell you what, he looks really, really good. And then obviously under Lage, it's different. You know, you talk about the reins being on with Nuno. This is open. This is expansive. 57 shots on target. Okay, no goals. There's an issue there, but I mean they are going for it. They are really, really going for it. My one concern is Raul Jimenez. He doesn't seem to be picking up the positions that I saw last year. And look, rightfully so. It was a horrific head injury, but this is a guy who scores his goals right between the posts on the 6-yard box. And he seems to be drifting out wide into areas where he wouldn't maybe get a lot of contact. And so that's something to keep an eye on.
That is, and maybe it will take him some time, or maybe he's haunted. Who knows? What do you think, Lowe?
I agree with Tim. We were watching the game at the weekend and doesn't quite look himself. He just needs that first goal, Rebecca, and that will take a lot of the strain and the mental pressures maybe that he's going through. It's important. Traore was important business to keep hold of him. As Tim said, he started the season well. We see he was a real threat to Manchester United, made a couple of great passes that people should have done better with. I can see why Nuno would want him, though, in the Spurs team.
What do you think of the price, $41 million? If you're Wolves, was that clearly nowhere near?
Not enough, because he's so important to what Wolves do.
Right.
He's such a big, important part. And Bruno Lage hasn't got points yet and hasn't got the wins that he'd want, but I think has made a favourable impression with these Wolves fans. And I think over time, once the first win comes, I think they're going to be OK. There's a lot of worry about, you know, changes of that football club with Nuno going and players not being there, but they look like they're in good hands. And Trincao, he's a proper player, by the way, on the left-hand side.
As Tim said, blew him away, yeah. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches and much more.